In the Valley of the Kings video, I mentioned how it is one of the most famous archaeological sites in the world. I believe this is because here is where you will find treasures and bodies of the past pharaohs. I also mentioned religion briefly. In this video, I will further discuss Egypt's place in history by providing more interesting insight into archaeological sites and religion that we do not think about. You, like me, have heard of the Karnak Temple, but that is because it is open to the public. What first surprised me is that it is one temple with many additions of several pharaohs. Approximately 30 pharaohs contributed to the massive growth of the Karnak Temple.
We are just right in front of the outer pylon of the Karnak Temple. I want you just to imagine that long ago, the river Nile used to come all the way till here. They used to carry the statue of the god Amun, the priest, coming all the way out from the temple, and then the boat all the way to Luxor Temple. Okay, if I am Karnak Temple, perpendicular on the Nile River, then Luxor Temple will be this direction, parallel to the Nile River. And the Sphinx Avenue connects in between.
During the early days of Egypt, the religion was that of polytheism, having multiple gods. The Nile River divides the Luxor into two parts, the East Bank and the West Bank. The West Bank is where the sun sets, so it houses the tombs of the many pharaohs. The East Bank is where the sun rises, and hence you will find Karnak Temple and the Luxor Temple to worship and celebrate life. I think Egypt changed its religion doctrine only twice, but a viewer did enlighten me. The first is said to be during the 1st century for Christianity, and the second with Islam in the 7th century. I am not sure how historians view a potential third change which occurred before Christianity. I myself do not consider it a religious change, but it is worth noting and for you to decide as I discuss the Karnak Temple. Karnak Temple, dedicated to Amun, Mut, and Montu or Khonsu, a group of gods referred to as the Tirad of Thebes, is considered to be the largest temple complex in Egypt and one of the largest in the world. Development occurred over 1,000 years, probably more like 2,000 years, principally between the 12th and the 20th dynasties, with approximately 30 pharaohs contributing to its development. Karnak is huge because of all the pharaohs of the New Kingdom before and after Seti I and Ramses II contributing to Karnak.
Sorry to make you walk a lot. It's the largest temple, okay? So welcome to Karnak Temple. As I mentioned that all the kings, they wanted to add to the temple until they reached an extent all the way to the river Nile. No more room to add. So when Ramses II, for example, wanted to add after his father, Ramses II here, Ramses III wanted to add a temple, he did not find any room. So he did his temple perpendicular on the Karnak Temple. Okay? Well, I like this one because it's more or less private, and it gives us a chance to hear each other and understand. Okay? Each temple had one and only one sanctuary, or the Holy of Holies. One and only one antechamber right in front of it. One or more hypostyle halls that has columns. One or more open court like this one. This one has one of each. Okay, one of each. To make the pillars, actually, I will explain this for you more when we go to the hypostyle hall inside. entering and first knocking 3 times, entering the sanctuary, and inside the sanctuary there was always like a niche that had the statue of the god, and in front of it like a pedestal, on it a boat, and another one for service. So he would be entering like this and just carrying the statue of the god and placing it on the pedestal and clearing it and cleaning it and rubbing it with all the what you call like the oils, and even kind of feeding it, performing this as if the statue is alive. And after that he would be returning the statue back to the niche and holding a small brush, just clearing the sand from his footsteps and never giving the back to the god. So this procedure was done daily in the Holy of the Holies. So this is a separate temple.
Karnak consists of a series of 10 pylons, monumental gateways leading into courtyards, halls, and temples. The first pylon opens onto a wide court which invites visitors further. The second pylon opens onto the hypostyle hall, one of the greatest archaeological marvels of Karnak, covering an area that can accommodate Paris's Notre Dame Cathedral.
To the colors. Can you all see the amazing hypostyle hall for Ramses II and his father, Seti I? Over there, you see the colors, how perfect they are. We have on this pillar here right in front of us, Ramses holding what we call Goddess Might, Goddess of Justice. And on the other pillar over there, as if holding a flower and offering it to Amun. You can see the cartouche of Ramses, like the cartouche like mine, we would put one on top of one on top of the other, like drums on top of each other. And then they would fill the hall with sand, and then they will start making the reliefs and the colors the other way around. So her temple, she was a queen who ruled Egypt way before Cleopatra, and Hatshepsut, she was an amazing queen. She ruled Egypt. She was wearing the double crown of Egypt, not as a man, but as a pharaoh wearing the double crown. She used to wear the dress like a pharaoh, wearing the false beard like a pharaoh, as symbolizing the king, the ruler, not as imitation for man. Okay? She was very popular, but she was followed by Thutmose III, who was her stepson, and on the obelisk. But when you come to an obelisk, you cannot hide it, erase it, because it's given a gift to the main god Amun. So what the priests did that, they made a wall around it to make the people forget about it. The temple of Hatshepsut.
The most significant structure is the Temple of Amun, considered to be where Amun lived on earth with his wife, Mut, and son, Mantu. When the land rose from the waters, the beginning of the world, and where he stood to begin the work of creation. Remember, Mut and Mantu also have temples of the sun. While adjoining, they are not part of Karnak. The Temple of Amun is famous for the hypostyle hall constructed during the reign of Seti I.
Who followed Hatshepsut. He is like our greatest warrior who did the Egyptian empire, invading land north, south, east, west of Egypt. Are these like the ones that I'm wearing? Are they? Not really, because the cartouche is like this one on the wall. It's more an oval shape with a straight line underneath. This is to surround your name. But what about these? These have like people around them. What is this? You know what's this? This is very interesting. These are the names for the captured cities that he invaded. So these are the names, and you have the figures. These do not have Egyptian features. These don't have Egyptian features, and their hands are tied in the back. Temple, then it should be washed in the sacred lake. It's interesting for you to know that the level of water in sacred lake is stable since the time of the Pharaohs until today. It does not change. It does not rise, not even a little bit up, high or low. It's the same. Right here, we have half of the other obelisk of Hatshepsut. Obelisks usually went twins. They did not stand alone. They were always like two. So this is what we call the broken obelisk of Hatshepsut. For years and years, since I was a little kid, it used to be like flat, like lying on the side here. But
The early religion of ancient Egypt is new to me. While it is similar to what we learned in school regarding the Greek and Roman gods, such as Zeus and Jupiter, it seems to evolve. Let's begin with Amen and his son. Egyptian gods rise to power based on the ruling pharaoh. This is why a Valley of the Kings viewer pointed out that Egypt underwent 3 religious changes rather than 2. Amen was originally a lesser deity who under Mentupat II's rule became a combination of 2 gods, Atum and Ra, the creator god and the sun god respectively, making him the supreme king of the gods. Similarly, Khonsu was the god of the moon, and Montu was the god of war. Montu was the son of Amen and Mut. The combination of these 2 deities led to both names being used interchangeably. If you think about it, it applies to how humans have always viewed Earth, with a day and a night, a sun and a moon. Amenhotep III, who had a long and flourishing reign, ensured Amen was remembered by creating a temple to Amen in the Luxor Temple, which will be discussed in another video. Amenhotep III's son and successor, Amenhotep IV, or Akhenaten, elevated his personal deity, Aten, to the level of supreme god. Moreover, he banned the worship of Amen and the other gods of Egypt. Amenhotep IV ruled for 5 years and tried to create a monotheistic religion, Atenism, to his god Aten. Atenism lasted for 20 years before a later pharaoh toppled the movement and restored earlier polytheistic religion and gods of Egypt. Subsequently, Amenhotep IV's contributions to Karnak and Egypt were destroyed. Since Atenism was very short-lived, and Egypt had returned to its old ways for many centuries before changing to Christianity, I do not consider this a religion change of Egypt, but it is worth noting. Additionally, Amen and his consort were re-established as the gods, but they wouldn't last. Another cult, bringing in a different set of deities, would take over. The Avenue of Rams is more than what you see here at Karnak, because while it leads its way to the first pylon, it also extends to Luxor Temple. In ancient times, a ceremonial boat transported the gods along the Avenue of Sphinxes or Rams to the Luxor Temple from Karnak during the Opet festival.